everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen, and today we are going to discuss a lot, right? Mostly a lot about the Indianapolis Colts running back, Jonathan Taylor, having to do a lot with the drama that we have seen unfolding all throughout the offseason and into the training camp. And this past week, it's been blazing. Now, the question is, would Jonathan Taylor even play this year if he was still wearing the Indianapolis Colts uniform? Before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody that BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, NFL, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting from your favorite casino games and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, here's the deal, okay? So earlier this season, obviously, Jonathan Taylor got himself a new agent. But right before that, he was talking about how he can't wait to play. Yes, he wants a new contract, but he can't wait to play for the Colts. And he wants to be a Colt for life. Now, I get that wanting and being able to could be two different things, okay? Most people who are drafted usually want to be. Now, the fact that he wants to be a Colt for life means he doesn't have a problem with the coaching. He doesn't have a problem with, most of the brass and stuff. If he had a problem with it, he wouldn't want to be a Colt, right? So there's, this whole thing about animosity, right? Everybody's talking about, there's animosity between Jonathan Taylor and the brass. But if he wants to be a Colt for life, he wouldn't have that animosity. There's one thing that he wants, and he understands, and he's said it before in previous tweets. It's not a team thing. It's an NFL thing about the NFL in general, all teams not wanting to pay, NFL teams not wanting to pay running backs their due. So I don't think he has the animosity with the Colts itself. I think he has an animosity towards the current running back market, which is fully understandable. I've already went into detail multiple times over that situation. Not going to get into that right now. Now, obviously, his agent has came out and spoke out in social media, but we haven't seen anything like that from Jonathan Taylor. Literally, the only thing that we've seen from Jonathan Taylor himself on social media is I've never had a back problem. I don't know what you're talking about. Check your sources, maybe get new ones, things of that nature, because that report came out yesterday and Jonathan Taylor shot that down really, really quick. One of the big things that is being discussed is, Jonathan Taylor's still on the PUP list. Why is he on the PUP list? It seems like a holdout. Well, first off, Jonathan Taylor has nothing to do with him being on the PUP list, other than the fact that he was not able to pass his physical after his surgery, which means he is still healing up from that ankle surgery he had, right? Doctors are the ones that make that decision, tell the coaches, and then the coaches, do the PUP list or take him off, put him on under the advice from the doctors, not Jonathan Taylor. Okay, so that, go ahead, take that out of your mind as well. So that has nothing to do with him. But he's there every day. Jonathan Taylor's there every day at practice. Now, granted, we've only had 4 or 5 actual training camp practices, but he's there. He's on the PUP list. He can't practice. but he's still there. People are like, well, that just means he doesn't want to get fined. He's on the PUP list, right? And he's out there interacting with his running backs, with the quarterbacks. As you've seen in the thumbnail, you saw him out there high-fiving guys, right? Whoops. So, yes, does he have a serious look on his face? Absolutely, right? Now, is that because the Colts have not and have stated that they don't plan on even offering him a contract right now? Or does that have to do with the fact that he's out there on the PUP list and can't practice with his teammates, right? That he's letting his teammates down? Well, I would probably say it's a little bit of both, right? He's probably absolutely upset that he ain't getting paid. And he's also upset that he's not out there with this practicing with his teammates. So, that's a little bit of both, but he's still there. And that, in my opinion, gives me a lot of hope. Because let's say he is there because he doesn't want to lose money and be fined for not showing up to training camp. Because yes, NFL players do get fined for holding out a training camp. If you are not a rookie, any player who holds out a training camp is fined or can be fined $50,000 a day. $50,000 a day. Now, if you're on your rookie contract, you could be fined $40,000 a day. A day. That's a lot of money for guys like you and me. That's $40,000 is an annual salary to most people, or even more than an annual salary for many, right? So that's a chunk of money. You're like, well, $40,000 is just, peanuts to an NFL player. Ladies and gentlemen, $40,000 is quite a bit of money. All right, especially when you're on a rookie contract and you're not like a top 5 pick. Okay. Honestly, $40,000 is a lot of money, period, end of discussion. Even if you are a top 5 pick, you go tell somebody $40,000 is not a lot of money. Do you remember when Quentin Nelson was fined for that helmet-to-helmet contact a few years back? What was that, his rookie season? Oh, he threw a fit. If it wasn't a lot of money for a guy who was picked 6th overall, he wouldn't have threw a fit. So it's a lot of money to anybody. But I want to break this down a little bit, because I want to say Jonathan Taylor so far in his NFL career hasn't made that much money. Okay? So far in his career, he's made what? $3.5 million his first 3 seasons? $3.5 million in 3 seasons. That's just a little over $1 million a year, right? This year, Jonathan Taylor is supposed to make even more than that. $4.3 million. That's more than what he's made his entire first 3 seasons in the NFL. Okay? That's a chunk of money. 4.3 mil. That's a good amount of money. That's worth playing for. Is that what he's worth? That's up for debate. That's up for debate. Obviously, I think that he's worth way more than $4.3 million. But he did come in. He's got a contract. He's going to play. At least that's my thought process. Think about this, okay? If he holds out this year, if he holds out under the new 18-week system, he would be fined starting week 1, $238,000 a week through the 18-week system. That's, which would come up to $4.3 million. If you thought $40,000 for a practice was a lot, imagine holding out and getting hit $238,000 every week, every stinking week, and you get no money. And then, of course, if you don't play that year, that's the same as, say guys retire or whatnot. If you didn't play a single thing, you were able to, but you didn't play or practice all of that year, your contract moves to the next year. He'll still be a Colt next year. And he's still in the same boat and situation. People are going to go back and say, well, what about the Le'Veon Bell and other guys who held out and then ended up signing somewhere else? They were at the end of their contracts, right? That was when they would not sign the franchise tag, which is different. They weren't under contract at that point. They just didn't sign their franchise tag and then went on to the next season. So the question now is bearing. Everyone knows Jonathan Taylor went in to the Jim Irsay's RV during practice and requested a trade. And then very quickly after, Jim Irsay tweeted, "We are not trading Jonathan Taylor. Not now, not in October." Stating not in October is a reference to the trade deadline, which means he's not getting traded at all, right? His plans is not to trade Jonathan Taylor. He will be a Colt this year. Whether or not he plays, he will be a Colt. So if he's not traded, how far will Jonathan Taylor go to make his point? If he's not traded and he's taken off the PUP list, will he practice and play this year for the Indianapolis Colts? I'm leaning towards yes. Why? Because as I said earlier, he's on the PUP list and still at practice. He's not holding out. Now, you can hold in during training camp, and we don't know if that's something that will happen later on when he's taken off PUP, right? If he's taking off PUP, he can hold in, which means you show up but not take part in the activities, take part in the practice. When you hold in and do that, when you show up, you're not fined. All you got to do is show up to training camp. You don't have to practice and you won't get fined. So once he's taken off PUP, that's when we'll find out whether or not he is serious and will or will not play for the Colts this year, in my opinion. Because if he holds in, that's a big pointer saying, he's trying to get his paycheck. If he holds out, I don't expect him. If he does not, and I fully 100% expect him to show up because he's showing up while on PUP. But will he practice? That's the thing. And there's a big difference between showing up while on the PUP list and showing up when you're not on the PUP list, because that's sending a message to your teammates. As of right now, he himself is not doing anything negative towards his own teammates. I've not seen anything where, he's tweeting or saying anything bad or doing anything bad at practice. He's there. He's talking to guys, things of that nature. He seems like he's taking this like a professional. If he shows up and not practice when he's taken off PUP list, that sends a message to his teammates. That'll be a big show. And that's when we'll be able to find out whether or not he plans on playing no matter what this season, whether he decides he's going to play or not play. As of right now, being that he's showing up and he's doing stuff with his teammates there on the field, to me, that says that even if he's not traded and does not get a contract extension, that he still plans on playing. Okay? And that would be his best move. Even if he's not traded, his best move is to go ahead and play this season out as if he already got his contract or as if he's playing for a contract. Because if you go back to what Chris Ballard said earlier in the year, no, we have not. And during his presser, right before training camp started, he said, no, I have no problem offering a contract in the middle of the season. Maybe the Colts are just waiting to see how he's doing, what he's going to look like on the field before they offer him any kind of contract, right? That's why they haven't offered him one right now. Are you still the same explosive player after an ankle surgery? Right? After an ankle surgery, are you still the same explosive player that you was in 2021? I mean, that's a good possibility. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, and that's why he's pushing so hard. That could be something as well. Maybe he knows up here, my ankle don't feel the same as it did a year ago at this time. You know, and I need to get this money now, or I am not going to be able to. Maybe that's it. That's an assumption, though, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, you know, a possibility. He could be fine, 100%, you know, knows that, you know, once he's ready to start practicing, that everything's going to be great, and he can go out there and hit it at 100%. He just wants the paycheck, which I completely would understand. But as of right now, his best bet, if he's not traded, is to play week 1, week 2, week 3, bust his butt, show the Colts how important he is to the team and how good he still is. If he is still really good, force Chris Ballard's hand into at least offering a contract. Because if you're on pace, if you play, say, 3 or 4 weeks, and you're hammering 5.5 yards a carry, you know, out there making big plays, showing that you are the backbone of this offense this year and that you can be relied upon, that's forcing a GM to be like, hey, if we want to keep this guy, because Chris Ballard's already said he wants to keep him and that he has always paid players, no matter the position, if they are game changers and great players for the team, which Jonathan Taylor absolutely fits in that description. If he goes out there and plays and busts his butt and shows how important he is, it'll force his hand. Offer the contract. Offer a contract. Now, does he, you know, reports out there he wants $16 million? Maybe he's worth it. I mean, running backs haven't really gotten that much of a raise over the last 10 years. Not like wide receivers and quarterbacks and cornerbacks and linebackers and even offensive linemen, for God's sakes. They have been in a stale right now. Is Jonathan Taylor a top 3 running back in the NFL? Abso-freaking-lutely. Right? People want to argue what he's a pure runner. Dude had over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. There ain't been nobody that has done that since LaDainian Tomlinson. Okay? I don't care whether he's gaining those yards and those touchdowns on the ground or through the air. That's still production that CMC himself has yet to do. Okay? I mean, come on. And he's making 16 mil. You're right? So that's what I'm saying. Is he worth 16 mil? The 2021 Jonathan Taylor is worth 16 mil. Last year's Jonathan Taylor, not worth 16 mil. Maybe worth 12. So if Jonathan Taylor's back to his full self, and we got an improved offensive line from last year, and he goes out there and he shows that he is back to his old self, his best bet is to play. And I think he knows that. I think the team knows that. And I think that's what they're waiting on. So let's hold out our assumptions that he's going to be traded or he, you know, is going to hold out on the season. Let's wait to see how this plays out because it's not over yet. And I'm excited to see. Am I worried? Yeah, a little bit. But I'm still excited to see how this plays out because, oh my goodness, a 2021 Jonathan Taylor with Anthony Richardson and all these receivers and tight ends that we have and possibly an improved offensive line, we could be better than what a lot of people think that we will be. And I'm excited about seeing that. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Make sure you hit the like button. Share wherever you got this, whether it's an audio podcast or here on YouTube. Share it to your favorite social media. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen for Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?